Hello everyone, I'm Jack Fisher and welcome to my world. And I've been following the emerging world of Marvel's new Ultimate Universe very closely since it launched. It has been a messy, complicated world that was forged by the Maker, who just so happens to be one of the few lone survivors of the former Ultimate Universe. And with every new issue of each Ultimate series, we learn more and more about the lengths that the Maker went to in reshaping this universe. But confronting those changes directly and with a sense of urgency, that's the foundation of Deniz Camp's new Ultimate series. A young Tony Stark, going by Iron Lad, is reforming the Ultimates, having already recruited Thor, Lady Sif, Hank Pym, Janet Pym, Captain America, and Doctor Doom, who is actually Reed Richards in this universe. And despite being branded as terrorists, they are actively preparing for an eventual confrontation between the Maker and his council. But in order to do that, they need to recruit other heroes. They need to start undoing all the changes the Maker did to this world. But after 2 issues, the results have been mixed to say the least. And it certainly doesn't help that the Maker's Council includes familiar names and figures who were supposed to be heroes in this universe prior to the Maker's arrival. But Ultimates number 3 throws a new complication into the mix by introducing She-Hulk. However, this is not the Jennifer Walters She-Hulk. This She-Hulk is different in terms of name, origin, and source of anger. But her story is not completely divorced from that of Bruce Banner. In fact, her story is very much an extension of both the traditional Hulk origins that we know and the Maker's nefarious manipulations. Now personally, I didn't think this take on She-Hulk would work as well as it did. But after taking some time to read and reread Ultimates 3, I'm confident in saying that yes, this does work, and it gives this new Ultimate Universe a unique but intriguing vision for She-Hulk. Now the setup is similar to the Hulk's classic origins. Bruce Banner led an experiment on a remote Pacific island called Operation Castle Gamma. The experiment involves the testing of a new gamma-based nuclear bomb. But, as in many other Marvel universes, the testing encounters complications, and Bruce found himself near ground zero when it detonated. But, instead of being vaporized, he was turned into the Hulk. However, that's not the focus of the story in Ultimates 3. We already know that Banner is the Hulk. We also know that he's largely in control of his faculties, and he's aligned with the Maker's Council. Now that's a story that'll probably be explored in a future issue. But with respect to She-Hulk, her story is a lot more tragic and one that warrants plenty of rage. Flash forward to the present. Decades have gone by since that fateful nuclear test. And Iron Lad, Thor, and Lady Sif don't know the true extent of this test when they arrive on the scene where it happened. But they soon find themselves on a remote Pacific island populated by gamma-irradiated monsters. They're not even there for more than a few minutes before one of those monsters attacks them. Yes, it's fairly generic, but it helps get the point across. This island is a true testament to the monstrosity that resulted from Operation Castle Gamma. It didn't just create the Hulk, it poisoned the entire environment around it, turning an otherwise peaceful island into an island of monsters. Also, quick aside, Monster Island is actually a classic Marvel locale. It has origins back in Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's early run in Fantastic Four. So to see Deniz Camp effectively re-envision the concept of Monster Island to help give us a new version of She-Hulk, I really have to applaud him here, because I think it's a unique but appropriate way to help develop this character. But before she enters the picture, Tony, Thor, and Sif encounter more monsters, and understandably, their first instinct is to fight them off. But at the same time, they didn't just come to fight monsters. Tony makes it clear that they're only there because the Hulk and the Maker's Council went out of their way to erase this island from every public record. They believe that this is where the Hulk was created, and if they can learn the secrets of Gamma, then they can use it against the Maker's Council. And it's only when a Hulk-sized woman named Lahori Joanna Zakaria shows up that they uncover the disturbing truth about these monsters. Yes, some of them are just animals who were transformed by the Gamma, but others are people. Innocent, unwitting people who were in the path of the fallout from Operation Castle Gamma. But the monstrous forms they take? This is where Ultimates 3 gets a lot more dramatic. Because when Thor, Tony, and Sif encounter what appears to be another Hulk-like creature, it's Lahori who reveals that it's a human, and not just any human either. It's actually an infant, one who she has to sing to in order to calm down. That really changes the context of Monster Island, as well as the Ultimates' reasons for being there. Because now it's not just a research mission. There's now a human element to it, another case of innocent people affected by the efforts of the Maker and his council. Lahori then leads them to her village where she shows them what the Gamma has done to them. While it made her this big, powerful female incarnation of the Hulk, others in her village suffered far worse transformations. Many had these horrific deformities, From a man with crab arms to a boy with his big bulbous head to this girl who has nothing but a nervous system and a skull. None of these people have the capabilities or the desire to join the Ultimates. Some are so frail that every waking moment is just a test in pain tolerance. In some sense, it's a more accurate description of what happens when people are exposed to high levels of radiation. As for why it turned LaJoy into a new She-Hulk, that's not clear. She says alright that for some, the gamma makes them strong, but for most, it makes them very, very sick. There's no rhyme, reason, or science behind it, and since the Makers Council effectively erased all records of the island, nobody cares. Lahori and her people just don't matter, and that makes her angry. Very, very angry. And to her credit, she demonstrates a remarkable ability to control that anger, a critical skill for any Hulk in any Marvel universe. She also demonstrates a willingness to work with the Ultimates, but not just for the sake of venting her anger. Lahori isn't that kind of She-Hulk. She wants to help her people and her home. As bad as it is due to the Gamma, she and her people aren't willing to abandon it. Even if it is forever known as Monster Island, it's still their home, and if the Ultimates want her strength and her rage channeled against the Makers Council, they have to fix it. And based on everything revealed over the course of Ultimates 3, that's more than a fair price. Tony even agrees to pay it despite not knowing how, or even if he has the resources. But it feels like a fitting extension of his mission to fix the world that the Maker broke. He's been trying ever since his father's death during the events of Ultimate Invasion, but his track record at the moment is still not great. But in seeing the people on Monster Island, seeing Lahori and what she's willing to do for her home, that just makes the stakes even more personal. And if Lahori ends up being the primary She-Hulk of this new Ultimate Universe, then personally I am all for it. Because she's not just a female version of the Hulk. Like Bruce Banner, she was a victim of a gamma weapon. But unlike Banner, she and her people didn't ask to be afflicted by the fallout, and they did not ask to be utterly pushed aside while the Hulk joined the Maker. This helps draw clear and distinct battle lines. At the end of the issue, we even learn that Banner is still very aware of those lines. He's also aware of Lahori and her people, and he's actively letting them suffer. That ensures that when She-Hulk meets the Hulk, there will be a lot of anger exchanged, and a lot of smashing to go around. It really seems like every issue of the Ultimates is building towards an eventual showdown between the Ultimates, the Maker, and the Makers Council. And with each new connection and revelation, it gets even more personal. But now that both sides have a Hulk, this showdown promises to shake the foundations of this new Ultimate Universe in a very literal yet very befitting way. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for joining me in my world. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, take care and stay safe.